For decades, the American restaurant industry operated on a fairly simple formula. Serve large portions, open more locations, keep prices competitive, and rely on customers dining out frequently. But something major is quietly changing across the restaurant business right now. A hidden shift is reshaping how restaurants operate, price food, design menus, and even think about customers. Because restaurants are no longer simply trying to serve meals. They are trying to survive an economy that feels increasingly unpredictable. And that pressure is changing the entire industry. One of the biggest changes happening is that restaurants are becoming far more cautious. For years, chains aggressively expanded into new cities, introduced endless menu items, and competed heavily for maximum customer traffic. But now many restaurant companies are prioritizing something very different: efficiency. Restaurants are simplifying menus, reducing labor costs, shrinking operations, and focusing heavily on predictable profits instead of aggressive growth. You can already see this shift everywhere. Menus are getting smaller. Dining rooms are becoming more minimal. Self-service kiosks are spreading rapidly. Mobile ordering is becoming central to the experience. And many restaurants now care more about speed and consistency than creating large dine-in experiences. The reason is simple. Running restaurants became much more expensive. Food costs increased. Labor costs increased. Rent increased. Insurance increased. Delivery platform fees increased. Almost every major operating expense became more difficult for restaurants to manage. And unlike many industries, restaurants often operate on very thin profit margins. Small cost increases can create enormous financial pressure very quickly. That reality changed how restaurant companies think. For years, businesses focused heavily on attracting as many customers as possible. Now, restaurants increasingly focus on maximizing profit from the customers they already have. That is why loyalty apps and memberships exploded across the industry. Fast food chains aggressively push mobile apps because apps increase repeat visits, collect customer data, and encourage habit-driven spending. Restaurants realize something important. A repeat customer is far more valuable than constantly chasing new customers through expensive advertising. Apps also help restaurants personalize promotions, predict behavior, and reduce operational uncertainty. And predictability matters more than ever right now. Another major shift happening inside the restaurant industry is the rise of smaller purchases. Many chains now heavily promote value meals, combo deals, snack items, and lower-cost products. At first glance, this seems strange because inflation pushed prices higher across the industry. But restaurants understand consumers are becoming more financially cautious. People still want convenience and small emotional rewards like coffee, fast food, or takeout. But many customers hesitate more before making large spending decisions. So restaurants are adapting by focusing on psychologically manageable purchases. A smaller meal feels affordable even when consumers feel financially stressed. And smaller purchases made frequently can still create stable revenue for businesses. This is also why subscriptions are quietly spreading across restaurants. Coffee memberships, delivery memberships, unlimited drink plans, exclusive app deals. Restaurants increasingly want recurring revenue instead of depending entirely on unpredictable daily traffic. Because recurring revenue creates stability, and stability has become one of the biggest priorities across corporate America. Technology is reshaping the industry too. Restaurants are automating aggressively. Self-order kiosks, AI drive-thrus, automated kitchens, digital payment systems. Many companies are reducing reliance on human labor wherever possible. Executives increasingly view automation as protection against rising costs and labor shortages. And investors are rewarding efficiency heavily. That changes how restaurant chains operate. For years, restaurants competed heavily on experience and hospitality. Now many chains compete on convenience, speed, and operational consistency instead. Delivery apps accelerated this shift dramatically. Restaurants increasingly design operations around off-premise dining instead of traditional dine-in experiences. Some locations now function almost like food distribution centers rather than classic restaurants. Ghost kitchens expanded. Pickup shelves became normal. Drive-thrus became more important. The industry started reorganizing itself around convenience-first behavior. And there is another major shift happening underneath the surface. Restaurants no longer fully trust consumer spending. Executives quietly worry that customers are becoming financially weaker. Credit card debt is rising. Housing costs remain high. Consumers are more selective about spending, so restaurants increasingly build strategies around flexibility and caution. That is why many chains simplify menus. Smaller menus reduce inventory risk, lower operational complexity, and improve consistency. Restaurants no longer want excessive waste or unpredictable inventory costs. Complexity became dangerous. This is especially true because consumer behavior now changes incredibly fast. Food trends explode online and disappear quickly. Social media drives temporary demand surges. Customers constantly switch preferences. Restaurants fear overcommitting to trends that may collapse overnight. So businesses increasingly test products cautiously instead of launching massive permanent expansions. Even restaurant design is changing. Many newer locations are smaller, optimized for takeout, and built around app-based ordering instead of traditional dining experiences. The industry is quietly shifting away from large sit-down experiences toward faster, more controlled operations. And perhaps the biggest hidden shift happening in America's restaurant industry is psychological. For years, restaurants operated with an expansion mindset. Grow bigger, add more choices, open more locations. Now, many restaurant companies operate with a protection mindset instead. Protect margins, protect efficiency, protect repeat customers, protect operational stability. That changes everything. Because restaurants are no longer building businesses for a world that feels endlessly stable. They are building businesses for a world that feels uncertain, cost-sensitive, and unpredictable. And that is exactly why the American restaurant industry is quietly transforming right in front of consumers, even if most people have not fully noticed it yet.